notice, I think there's might be a bit subjective. There should be a bit of a bigger slide, but what you can see here, I guess I'm going to get them side by side. If you can see these things here, the majority of the time that's actually being spent here is actually, each one of these blue things is meant to be it sending its stuff inside of the actual messages. So you can see that this, I should have done that. The cool thing about this is it tells you the amount of time that I actually spent like in a self aspect, and it also tells you the total amount of time that it spent and everything that was done after it was spent as well. A much better way of actually seeing this graph, which I should have thought about, it's not UI friendly though, is here. So, yeah, okay. So you can see here that the entire test, like the thing that took the most amount in this test is 405 milliseconds, which is just the fact that it's sending it. You can see the next thing was parsing JSON. And then this is actually really cool as well. So this is kind of like a much easier way than using Hydra. And what it does here, it actually tells you, hey, by the way, something within this function is not actually optimized. So V8 is actually bailing out. And the cool thing about this is, what you can just do is you could say, okay, I'm going to open up this view. Not as pretty as the graph, but it contains better data. And from it, you can actually find out what every single, like how long an actual function takes, and you can figure out if that's your bottleneck or not. Does anyone want me to run the same one again? Probably not, right? Okay, we'll just believe me. Actually, let's okay. I can't take my water. Okay, going next. So that's one thing that we've done. So the outgoing buffer timeout, essentially what it does is every single time you try and send something that's secondary, it would put it on the queue. It will either flush that queue at whatever time interval you deem is fit, or what it would do is if someone sends something before that, because we care about the order, it would then flush the queue prematurely. One thing that we also realized with this, but I'm not going to get into it, is timeouts are also really expensive in Node.js. Just the fact that like registering, and they slip insanely. So because of that, if you have the ability to try and only have a single timeout that checks a map of flags or data, like timestamps that you can compare against, it's generally a lot better than you having multiple timeouts that are all registered together. Okay, so that one was actually the fun one. This one is broadcast timeout, which is broadcasting coalition. That's weird. No. Right. So I can't go into too much depth about this because it's kind of confusing. But so one of the other things that we've done again is the fact that it's like we spent an entire month trying to figure out what the best way for us to improve sending stuff out is, right? So the broadcast timeout I just showed, was it broadcast timeout? Outgoing buffer timeout. That was made for secondary things. These are for primary. So the main functionality between Deepstream or any real-time pub server is you get one message and you can send it out to hundreds of thousands, right? And if you think about that from, again, a direct lineage, that's really slow. What you're going to do is you can say, I got a message, I'm going to do 100,000 socket writes, and I'm going to do it again. That just won't scale whatsoever. So what we've done instead is, this was with the help of Alex Holton, who wrote the nodeJS server, is really complicated. We renamed variables from C to names, which made it easier to understand. But the general idea behind this now is we just create this super long string with all the updates that have happened in a certain topic. And then we go like, okay, we're going to assume the law of nature is usually some people chat more than other people, right? So but what that means is there's always a larger amount of people that will just get an entire map of everything that they're subscribed to without any manipulation. And then other people who actually send stuff would have to get gaps, so you don't get echoes back from what you have. So this entire algorithm is based upon the fact that you build this entire string, and then when the flush algorithm comes in, what you do is you say, okay, if I have a unique sender, which basically means you're a provider, what it will do is it will splice out, so that's an expensive task, it will splice out all the things in the string that you sent, and then it would have this native string, which is a normal send. And then, if it isn't, it goes into the C++ kind of land. So what that does is, you just create the message once, you loop over every single socket, and I don't really understand how this works because I'm not really a C++ guy, but it gives you a reference to the passes a reference to the memory to each individual socket, and it basically does corking. And then at the end, you say finalize message, and then the WebSocket server then goes like, okay, I'm going to get that. I'm going to just flush everything that I have to everyone. So this gave us like a lot of performance gains. I mean, we have a blog post talking about how like we managed to get like thousands of % higher performance depending on the kind of. Again, it depends a lot. If everyone that you have sends a message and everyone receives something, it would be just as expensive. But that isn't the paradigm that most people have. You usually have a publisher, which is someone who has permissions to publish stuff, and then you just have subscribers. Okay, so that was fun. That actually went better than I thought. Okay, this one's really cool. So, node versions matter, right? I mean, who here likes upgrading because being on the latest version is really fun? Oh, okay, I use the word fun to be honest. Yeah, okay. And who here doesn't upgrade because they think there might be a performance issue? Is it because of one person? Okay, that's good.
Not performance.
Not performance, though. Just general backwards compatibility. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was an interesting. Okay. So, just for experimentation's sake, let's again look at my broadcast. Oh, what was it? Benchmark. Yes. And closure. Cool. So let's just take a look at what these numbers are. This is running on node 8, I believe. So we'll just wait 10 seconds. We got time, right? Cool. Okay, but let's start a guessing game by the time the next one starts. So I'm going to run node 6, which is the current LTS still, right? So hopefully, okay, hopefully this actually switches. Okay, I haven't actually tried it this way. So who here think, what do people think the slowest one's going to be? Is it going to be the bound or is it going to be the one in the closure? So we had two of them. We had bound and we had scoped. So which one do you think is going to be slower in node 6?
Bind.
Bind? And by what factor?
3.
Okay. No one's a petty person? Okay, cool. So it's still running. So slightly more than 3, I'm afraid. Yeah. So this is one of the, I guess this is one of the most interesting things that we face as well, because it's like, if you update to node 8, we'll get some vast performance improvements. But at the same time, we want to be on the LTS. So that took 46 seconds to do that same bind function. Right? I haven't changed the nodeJS code whatsoever. So this is just a pure indication of how much of a difference by a factor of, yeah. So it's insane. I actually haven't tried the rest of them, but just out of fun. Okay, that's pretty much identical, so they don't do anything there. And then the cheating one. Yeah, so it's just the scope on it. Yeah. So that's a really good indication of saying, maybe when I upgrade my node version, before I go all in and I go like, why is my application suddenly 5 times slower? You can go like, there's a bit of a problem. In fairness, V8 just updated to Turbo, which means they're now officially supporting all the ES6 features, whereas Node 6 and everything else, they just won't. They're just in a really outdated version. So you should update to Node 8 if you have the chance, as soon as it's LTS, obviously.
Yeah, but some companies, sorry.
Yeah, no, of course.
Some companies think like, I'm from higher point of view, like, you don't want to upgrade until the LTS version, because nodeJS sells new versions a lot.
Yeah.
So,
no, that is completely true. Again, it depends on what you're building. Like, what we do with DeepStream.io is we actually package it into a binary. So we basically download Node, hack it apart, insert our own C code into it, compile it again, and then inject our stuff with browser file. We have this very weird build. And because of that, and the majority of the people use binary installs. So they just do like yum install DeepStream. And because of that, it's like we can actually get performance gains of like 10% or something just by doing that. And so, but I do agree that it's always best to be an LTS basically, or to make that decision on behalf of the company. Okay, so just re-emphasizing on that, it really does matter. Like always try it out first, and just just to run a basic performance test. Does anyone here run performance tests against their HTTP servers or nodeJS servers? There's some really cool like nodeJS, there's some really cool general frameworks and stuff where you just in YAML describe your entire like scenarios and stuff. You can say I want to run it against thousands of things and test it. And you could just run them as a Docker image. All you're going to do is learn the YAML format. So it's quite interesting. Okay, so this leads me to, obviously, DeepStream's not perfect because I would be lying otherwise. But it's really, really good. So we do have a couple of performance bottlenecks. So the first performance bottleneck that we have is the distributed state registry, which is kind of ironic because it's kind of like the least useful thing that we have in a real-time server. So what that distributed state registry does is, well, it distributes state. So you don't have to have an actual cache. It would store the state of all the subscriptions within the cluster locally. And in order to make sure that things are consistent, it would do checksums. So we would have a for loop inside of our code, and that for loop would basically be like, I'm going to add all the subscriptions and see if it makes sense. So when we wrote it, we performance tested it, it was optimized by Crow, we were like, this is amazing. And then we tried giving it like, I don't know, 50,000 subscriptions, and the checksum was just not calculated well whatsoever. And right now, it's one of the most expensive things that we have in the code base. So if anyone wants to try out performance, you're more than welcome to give that a shot. The second thing that we have is the listening algorithm. So listening is a feature that we have in DeepStream. It's one of our unique selling points, as my marketing team told me. And what it does basically is, we kind of like we stole / borrowed / got this idea from banks and stuff like that. But what this does is you have backend providers. So this was my actual talk that I thought I'd give. But yeah, so what this does is, as a backend provider, you can say if anyone's interested in a certain topic on the platform, I want to get told about it so I can start publishing updates to that topic, right? So the idea behind it is you don't have this whole broadcast thing where everyone just comes alive. It's like, well, I matter. Truth is, you don't matter until someone tells you you matter in most like real-time systems. So the first thing is patterns. So I'm going to say, okay, if anything so the first one is just really greedy. It says if anything matches anything. So I'm going to get told about everything on the system. The second one would be if anything starts with a Bob prefix, and the third one would be if anything has hello. The second one doesn't start with Bob, just like Bob somewhere in the thing. And then these are my 3 subscriptions, right? So what's going to happen is, if I show you a tiny bit of code, it has that horrible O(n) square algorithm like that, right? So what that does is it say for every single pattern that I have, look at every single subscription that's in the system, and then basically build up a map of all of these kind of matches that I have, and then use that to try and see if anyone's interested. So the reason why we've done this is honestly because it was quick, and this listening feature is huge, and this is something we can easily refactor. The idea, the way, again, a node O(n) squared is evil, right? Like anything that, if your loops are big, which they tend to be if you don't have any control over them. So because of that, the recommended approach that we would do, we do this for RPCs and other parts of our system, is you find the first match, and then you query that person, and you say, hey there, are you interested? And if he says no, then you store him, and you say this person has rejected it, and then you find the second match. And then that way, first off, you introduce network concepts behind it, so it gives a lot of breathing time to everyone else. And second off, if you're going to run through this entire loop just so that the first person says yes, and in like 90% of the scenarios, the first person says yes, it doesn't make sense to do this. So this is a very good example of if you have an O(n) square algorithm, try your best to think about an alternative before implementing it. The second one as well was, yeah, okay. But subscription room allocation. So this one's quite interesting because this one used to be O(n) square when we first wrote it. One of our community members actually turned it to O(n), and yet it's still ironically one of the most expensive things. And the reason why is putting people in different rooms, finding out who's subscribed to what, unsubscribing them whenever the socket closes. There's a lot of logic that actually happens, right? The general approach that we took was that instead of having O(n) square and then you're able to compute the state of the world, you have multiple objects, and all those objects contain a specific version of the state, and you can just look things up. So instead of like trying to compute everything, we store it in cache. So the disadvantage of this is obviously we're allocating more memory, and if something insane happens, our garbage collector will just get really happy and go on a field day. And then the advantage of it is the fact that, again, that's a very unlikely scenario. I mean, one of the most important things in performance, generally try and cater for the scenarios that happen most often. I mean, because there's always things that you can cater for and you can't. One of the reasons why this algorithm is still slow is honestly just because of the fact that we're using sets. And sets haven't been optimized properly, as far as I know, by the VA engine. So a set generally means it's a unique array, so every single time you insert something into a set, it tries to make sure that there's nothing else in this. So inserting something to a set requires an O of n, not O of 1. So we're, fingers crossed, it just magically improves. Okay. So the rest of these are third-party issues, so they don't matter so much. I didn't actually have much slides for them. Just main thing, love your modules, which basically means that if you're going to be using something inside your code base, try and make sure that what it does makes sense and it's not being completely irrational. If you're going to do HTTP and you want to make sure that you can get thousands of subscriptions, you're probably better off using your own HTTP agent, because stuff like request and stuff like that, they don't scale very well. If you're going to use Redis, use pipelining. If you're going to use Postgres, use your own buffer. That's my description of it. Sorry, I mean, I'll answer questions about it. And that's it. Thank you.
Maybe one or two questions. Otherwise, of course, he's around for
I have stickers.
questions. Exactly.
I got like 10 though, so you're going to hurry.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So 2 questions? No questions?
No questions.
No
Okay,
questions.
I think everybody's still exhausted from the very fast pace. So
Yeah, sorry about that. There was a lot to cover. Yeah.
the slides will probably be online, so if you want to read them, maybe the recording also worked. We'll see about that. Thanks for stopping by. If it did work, we'll try to upload within the next few days and let you all know about that. Aside from that, I still see some wraps in the back. I see some drinks in the back. We have until we don't have a time, so until the day runs out. No one's throwing you out before then. So yeah, enjoy yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next month as well. Cheers.
Probably worth mentioning really quick.